Starting this video off with Deirdre from the editing land. I decided to split these videos into two parts, so welcome to part 2. We are going over my goals and manifestations for 2024, both in life and in the realm of social media. So I hope you enjoy, and if you haven't seen part 1, check out how my wrap-up went for my ins, outs, and under reviews list that I made for 2024. Goals and manifestations. So first category is key life goals, and I will link the blog post that Victoria has this on in my description box, so that if you are interested in using this as sort of a template for any goals or manifestations you have for 2025, you can go there. I feel like it's worth saying, if goals and manifestations don't work for you, that's totally fine. Like, do what is best for you. You could always do these at any time. That's my little spiel. Let's get into key life goals. I wanted to become more financially literate. I feel like I talked about this a little bit in my outs. There's room for improvement. I feel like I did a lot of growth in my understanding finances. As somebody who really doesn't understand finances, it was great, but there's always room for improvement. Feeling more secure in career choices and life path. This definitely is where I'm like, oh. I spent so much of this year applying to jobs that I didn't get interviews for. I really tried to think about what I want out of my life going forward. Is the job that I have in theater serving me fully at all? I think I am closer to feeling good about my path, but I also feel like it's been helpful for my type A brain to sort of be in this space of what do you want? What do you want? Because there are a lot of things that I want. Much like the finances, I am growing with it, and we are seeing what happens. It was a lot of finances. I wanted to begin major savings pots. I feel like a lot of this went to paying off my student loans. So I definitely don't have any sort of savings pot in this way, but I feel like I was able to make chinks in my big debt. So that was good. I wanted to have my Irish passport by 2025. That didn't happen. But it is on my list. It is something I really want to do. So hopefully by the end of 2025, I will have it. Then the next category is wishes. I wanted to be invited to a premiere. I didn't get invited to a premiere, but I did get invited to quite a few advanced screenings, which was really exciting. I got to go see Argyle, Dune. I got invited to Baby Girl, which I couldn't go to and I was so upset about. I got invited to a bunch of things over the fall, and I couldn't go because of work, which was unfortunate. Still got invited, which was exciting. So definitely something I'm still working towards. I would love to attend a premiere of a movie, of a film. So we'll see what 2025 has in store. Steady work both in person and online. I definitely had steady work in person. I had no work online. We'll kind of get into that more when we go over to the social media goals. And then I really want to host or talk on a panel in person. I have done it online. Did not happen. But again, I was really focused on work this year, and my job does not lend itself to doing things in the hours that I'm working. Obviously, that sounds crazy, but there are 2 days a week where I work all day, and then every other day of the week I'm working in the evening when most things are happening. People are just not hosting events on Mondays, which is my day off, or Sundays. I would really love to host or speak on a panel. It's big dream. Next category, Victoria has it's basically 5-year goals. So this was key goals by 2029. By 2029, I would really love to be debt free. I would love to have my student loans paid off by then, and any lingering credit card debt. We are working towards that. That is my big goal for my 30s, the first half of my 30s. And then also with that is to have a substantial savings. So saving while paying off debt. It feels out of reach right now, but it also feels like something I want to work for. I am very passionate about working for that and having some financial independence. Even though I am financially independent right now, just feeling freer in my finances. Vacation once a year minimum. I would really like to be able to take a vacation and not freak out about not working, not feel like I can't take a vacation when I'm working. That's a big thing in theater. And yeah, so by 2029, I would like to take a vacation, like a proper vacation, once a year. Then we have things I need to do. And I really focused on like, what do I need to do throughout the year to be better for myself? So the first thing was health. I wanted to finalize my doctor roster. Ever since moving to New York, I've slowly been like filling in all of my specialists. And I wanted to have all my appointments set for the year. I did most of them. I didn't do all of them. Mostly because at the beginning of the year, I got really burnt out with doctor's appointments. I had a new discovery of a health issue that I have, and it really took a lot out of me after going to so many visits and so many scans and just like all these things surrounding my health, that I was like, what do I need to check off to have the medications that I need to take, and what is most important to me? I feel really good about where I am right now in my health. There's definitely things that we are working on, but that is between me and my doctors. So I definitely prioritized that, but it did take a back burner after I got burnt out from sitting in doctor's offices. I wanted to tackle one part of my apartment monthly for cleaning / downsizing, noting how the space could function better and making a wish list for wants and needs in that space. I kind of did this, like I redid a bunch in the bathroom, which I felt really good about. It still needs a little bit more organization, but this is a work in progress. I live with another person. I'm figuring out, like when I moved in, I just sort of like brought all my stuff and put it in places. And now I'm sort of figuring out like, okay, what have I not touched at all in the last 3 years? And what is serving me? What isn't serving me? What could function better? Like just slowly figuring that out. Clear out unused clothes. Clear out unused clothes. Clear out unused clothes. I have been doing that. I every couple months have been going through my closet and donating things that I'm no longer wearing. I feel really good about what's in my closet right now. I'm not totally in love with my wardrobe, but that's because there are a lot of holes and things that I'm like wishing for. I feel really good that I'm like letting go of things that no longer fit me or are no longer in my style, and that feels really good. In here is make an effective routine that includes taking all medications. I don't know about anybody else, sometimes it got so daunting with the daily medications that I was like, I can't take these all at the same time because then I have to be timed with meals and blah, blah, blah. So I definitely feel like this is also a work in progress. Like I'm much better about it. I have a lot less medications to take right now than I did at the beginning of the year, which is great. Again, I feel like this is something that can always improve, and it fluctuates a lot based on where I'm working. Next category, habits to learn and keep. I really wanted to prioritize less mindless phone time. I feel like in the first half of the year I was good at this, and in the second half of the year I wasn't necessarily. The busier I am, the less mindless phone time I have, which is why I usually like pack my schedule as much as I can. Reading nonfiction. I was really not that great about this. Read 1, I think. 2, and then I like supplemented chapters for some of my research, but I want to be better about this. But I just gravitate towards fantasy. Editing Deirdre here again. I had to take a break because this like bout of hiccups set on, and when I came back, I guess I changed the setting on my phone by accident, so we're a little bit more zoomed in for the last bit of this video, so apologies for that jump scare. I don't know where those hiccups came from, but I'm glad they are gone. Okay, back to finishing things I start unless they don't serve me. I think I was good about this. I feel like I didn't start a lot, if that makes sense. Like I just kind of kept rolling with what I had going. I wanted to track health needs, workouts, food, and meds. I did not do this. Taking all medications and supplements. I did, mostly, I think. Definitely not supplements. Supplements and vitamins are something I gotta work on, but we're good on the medication front. Not putting things off because they're intimidating. Again, something I'm working on. And again, something I feel like having a planner or like a thing in front of me that's like, do this, would really help me, because I love ticking things off a list. I do love ticking things off a list. So it is helpful for me if I have something that's like, do these things and you'll be done. We have 2 more categories, and habits to dismiss and lose. I oftentimes am ready at like the last second, and it annoys me because then I don't get to really film content about those things, and I don't like rushing. It actually feeds my anxiety in the worst way. And in some respects, I was really good about this, like planning out to be ready like 15 minutes to a half hour before I really needed to get going. Complaining about things I know I can change. I think I grew a lot this year in my like patience and control, and also like being a whiny person. Sometimes it's fine. Like every once in a while, I think it's good to just sort of like let things out and whine and whinge. A lot of times, if I'm in that headspace, it's really easy to stay there, and I don't like being that person. I don't like sitting in that headspace. It makes me feel icky. And I'm glad that I have like acknowledged it and been like, maybe if we can change it, just change it. Last category, who do I want to be in 2024? Happy, healthy, not scared of turning 30, and a higher level of fitness. I definitely felt happier in 2024. Healthy, relative. Especially at the end of this year, I definitely feel healthier than I did at the beginning of the year in terms of like where I am with a lot of my chronic illness stuff. Going into fitness, I've definitely worked on that this year. Like I'm walking a lot more, I'm going to workout classes a lot more, and I'm definitely feeling better in that regard. It's something that I really want to focus on in 2025. I never thought I'd say that. I really never thought I would be like, you know what? I really want to do more workouts and yoga classes and walking and all that kind of stuff. And I do. It's something that I genuinely want to do, which I think is a big flip in the brain. Not scared of turning 30. I think that kind of flipped in my brain for me midway through the year, because I was like, it's coming, whether we like it or not. I had a good time in my 20s. I've thought about this a lot leading up to my birthday, and a lot of people have asked me how I feel now that I've turned 30. I think my fear was that in the like traditional social way we view success and things, there's a lot that I don't feel confident about. The way people like look at you socially, it's like this should all kind of be together by 30. In talking to people that are actually in their 30s, that's kind of like stuff you do in your 30s. I'm like, so much happened in my 20s, and I think I'm not really scared of my 30s anymore, because we're here and we're living in them and they're happening. I think the scared was the social aspect, like social views of success, but then also like the fear of the unknown and what could come in the next 10 years. And then also 30 is just such a big number. Like, how did this happen? How did I become an adult? Yes, that's all the goals. I'm not gonna take you through my monthly goals because that is too much. I'm feeling really good about that. Obviously, some things came to be, some things didn't. There were things that I prioritized and things that I didn't prioritize, and that's okay. Social media one. So this contains content planning for Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and my podcast. And we started out with my book goals. Read the arcs I get sent. We have talked about this. I kind of did that. Read books I'm excited about pretty immediately. Kind of did that. Read as many of the physical books in my apartment. At the beginning of 2024, the number was between 116 and 120. I did not do this. I wanted the top shelf of my bookshelf at home to be like depleted. It's not. It's pretty much the same. I think like 5 books have been taken off of there. So that is, I did, however, read a lot of the physical arcs that I was sent. So there was a trade-off there. But something that I really want to work towards is like bringing that number down. So many books up there that I'm just not interested in reading anymore, and I kind of need to go through and be like, okay, what books do I actually want to read? let's be for real. My Goodreads goal was to read 50 books. I did that. I just finished my 100th book the other day. Really good about reading 100 books. I might finish 1 or 2 more by January 1st, but I'm not like, oh, I wish I'd read 200. Like, I'm very content with the amount of books that I read this year. Read a minimum of 2 5-star books a month. I did not do this, and I'm actually really mad at myself for not doing this. Obviously, you can't necessarily plan that, but this was supposed to tie into like reading the books that I was excited about immediately. I did read a fair amount of 5-star books, but I did not read as many 5-star books that I wanted to. I made a spreadsheet. I had my Goodreads and my StoryGraph. I did it for about 2 months. And part of that is just I don't get in front of my computer and like do all the analytics as I'm finishing books. I just sort of like do my template on my Instagram and I add it to my notes on my notes app, and that's it. And I think I need to decide whether or not actively tracking the reading is something that I care about. Be mindful of spending. I really went into this year thinking about how much I was spending on books, and I didn't buy a lot of books. I spent much more time reading from my Libby app, the apps that I pay for, like Spotify. I utilized audiobooks on there. I have many thoughts on that audiobook platform, as well as like the Libro FM ALCs that I get sent and the physical books that were in my apartment. That's not to say I bought 0 books, but I was definitely much more intentional of like not leaning into the major sales. Like right now, Barnes & Noble has a hardcover sale going on. Usually I would really be like, okay, let's go spend $100. I don't want to do that. I already have a lot of books. I'm really prioritizing adding special editions into my collection, and there just aren't that many that I'm excited about. So that is also helping. Now let's get into the social media goals. I wanted to grow my followers across social media. So I wanted to get to 50K followers on TikTok. I started on January 9th. I had 39,669 followers. Today, December 29th, I have 39,057. I lost just about 600 followers. That's okay. I feel like TikTok is, I like creating there. It is the place where my platform grew the most and is the reason why I am creating the type of content I am now. But it as an app has not served me as a creator for like 2 years. Instagram, I really wanted to get to 5K. I started the year with 3,227 followers and I'm ending the year with 3,247 followers. And then on YouTube, I wanted to get to 1K. I wanted to get to 1,000 followers. And I started the year with 460 followers and I'm finishing the year with 556 followers. So I gained almost 100 followers in the year, which is a win for me, honestly. Growing on social media is so hard right now. And I feel like even just like 1 follower is great. And I go back and forth between prioritizing following. So this is something I'm going to continue to work toward. I wanted to make at least 1 month's rent in campaigns. I made 0. I made not a cent from social media this year. I didn't get any money from my reels. I didn't get any money from my TikToks. I was not reached out to do any ad campaigns. Well, I was, but they were all fake. Somebody reached out to me. I remember I should have saved them and done a roundup of the wildest things I was reached out to talk about. Somebody reached out to me to talk about baby products. I don't have a baby. There are no children in my life. I was like, why are you reaching out to me? Please stop. Actively try different filming and editing approaches. I did this and I'm really glad that I did. It made me much more creative in the way that I approached different types of vlog styles and editing styles. Filming and editing is something I am proficient in. It's not something I would say I am great at. Anytime I get inspired by somebody or see a new feature come up on like CapCut, I'm excited to try it and just see how it does and how I even like utilizing those features. I wanted to broaden my content. So I wanted to make content on books, home style, fashion history, museum visits, movies, and random thoughts. I definitely feel like I did this. I mean, my caviar video a couple weeks ago did so well, at least so well in terms of like TikTok. And I had like one of my fashion videos get over 10K views on TikTok, which was really exciting. I definitely feel like doing a lot more vlogs throughout the year helped with this. And it's something that we're working on a lot. I have to stop saying that. I wanted to post 2 YouTube videos a month and post across socials 3 times a week. I think I was okay at this. I kind of stopped tracking how much I was posting, especially once I got into full-time theater work in the spring. But I'm not disappointed by how often I posted this year, for sure. I really wanted to receive more PR boxes, especially for book to movie adaptations, and I didn't. I think this year was the least I received in terms of PR. I did get a really cool package for Interview with a Vampire. That's really one of the only ones that I can think of that I was sent. And you know what? I'm trying to downsize stuff in my apartment, so it's really okay. Tying into like hosting or speaking on a panel, I really want to moderate or speak on a panel, particularly in the like book, fashion history, social media realm. Did not do that this year, as we talked about, but it's something that I'm manifesting. I wanted to interview more authors. I did this at events I was going to. I started doing my like mini author interviews with my tiny mic, and people really enjoyed those. So definitely going forward to more events that I go to this year, my tiny mic will be coming with me and I'll be doing little mini interviews with authors. And we'll kind of talk about how that ties into my podcast, which is next. Overall, with the podcast, I think we made 3 episodes this year because Danielle and I were so busy. There was a lot happening for both of us throughout this year. And when it's only you working on the podcast, like we produce, research, edit, are the talent, everything. We do outreach, we run our social media. And I think both of us were really burnt out from the podcast. And we've sort of talked about, you know, what's going to happen with the podcast going forward. So I'll kind of run through this. None of this happened. That's just because we didn't do the podcast. Outline when the season breaks are. This is something that I think is going to help us going forward and something we really talked about this year because we are really bad at doing season breaks. We'll just go until we're burnt out, and that is not good. Post regularly, more interviews. This kind of ties in to more author interviews. I love interviewing authors on the podcast. It's one of my favorite things that we do, and I want to do it more. Make connections with other podcasts, be on people's Spotify Wrapped. I don't think we were on anybody's Spotify Wrapped. Grow audience and upgrade filming setup. So these are all going to move over into 2025 for sure. I think that's it. Yeah, that's everything. So that is the roundup of my 2024 goals and manifestations. Now that I've looked back on this, I feel really good because when I think back on this year, on like this particularly falls into like how I feel about my career, there is so much of my life that is dictated by my work schedule and my health. And because those two things were like fighting with each other at the beginning of the year, to even feel like I accomplished one of these goals is amazing. Like there were points at the beginning of the year where I was like, I'm just trying to make it through the day. That's it. I mean, that's how I felt like a week ago. So just knowing that these are things that I can continue to work towards, because looking at this list, I'm like, yeah, I want to keep working on those things. I want to host and speak on a panel. I want to grow my social media. I want to feel more secure in my finances. I want to feel more secure in my relationships. I want to grow how I feel about my fashion and how my fashion makes me feel as a person. And like, those are all things that I have been working on and can keep working on. I think that your goals and manifestations for a singular year need to be like held in that singular year, which is why I really like those prompts that Victoria made, especially the one that's like goals by 2029. Now it's going to be 2030. It's like, what is the big picture life-wise? Let me know in the comments if you have any goals or manifestations from 2024 you feel like sharing or talking about. Was this helpful? Are you thinking about doing goals for 2025? I don't think I'm going to post anything about actually, no, I'll probably do on short form my like ins, outs, and under reviews, but I think I would prefer to do like a roundup at the end of the year as opposed to being like, here is everything laid out. And that's just kind of how I'm working. Also, because I'm already doing content planning for January, and I just don't think something like goals and manifestations is gonna fit into that. So that's where we are. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up. If this is your first time or your 10th time watching my videos and you haven't subscribed already, please help me get to that 1,000 subscriber goal of mine. It's probably gonna be the first and last time I'd say that. We're definitely gonna be making more content on this channel in 2025. So I hope you liked this video, and I will see you in the next one.